Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am here to talk about Chase Hooper versus Jordan Leavitt. Oh yeah, I'm the guy who picked GSP to beat Matt Serra that time he lost to him. Chase Hooper is the guy who is underneath my kitten Joffrey's right paw, so I can't see his fucking shit here. He is 12-3 as a pro, 12-3-1. He's 24 years old, and he's got 4 inches of height and 3 inches of reach, I believe, over 28-year-old Jordan Leavitt, who is 11-2 as a pro. Jordan Leavitt, he is a guy that likes to make people uneasy with his dancing, and in my case, he has succeeded. But he is a very talented grappler. He's got now 2 TKO victories after the TKO over Victor Martinez and the slam over Matt Wyman, but 6 submissions and 3 decisions. He is not the most imposing striker at all, despite the victories in the UFC. The victory, I should say, over Victor Martinez. But Jordan Leavitt he's proven to be pretty damn tough himself. I think he's a healthy fighter with a good chin. And he's one of those savvy, tricky, crafty grapplers as well. Got an inverted triangle over Matt Sales. He's got some funky grappling, but good takedowns, especially when he's fresh. Good advancing and good finishing prowess. Speaking of which, he's lost twice. Once via finish to Paddy Pimblett. Paddy out-grappled him and took his back, strangled him in round 2, and then twerked on his face, which made me uneasy, as you might imagine. And he also lost a decision to Claudio Puelles, who outlasted him. They had a close first round. He was winning round 1, Jordan Leavitt, and then he wasn't. Claudio Puelles grounded him for the rest of the fight and was dominating him. A lot of side control, I believe. But Jordan Leavitt still survived in that fight. And in other fights, he's proven to have good cardio. He got Jose Flores out of there with an arm triangle. I think that was in round 2 on the Contender Series. Outlasted Trey Ogden narrowly. It was a very close fight. And also got Matt Sales out of there, again, with an inverted triangle, but that was in round 2. I like Jordan Leavitt as a fighter. I think he's definitely a difficult test, a guy that is not the most imposing fighter, certainly on the feet. He's never going to be known as the most versatile guy, but he's got a lot of traits that help him on the feet, durability being one of them, and he's a crafty enough grappler where I'm very intrigued by this fight with Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper, he's a guy just like Jordan Leavitt, not the most imposing guy on the feet at all, and a very good grappling game, Chase Hooper. He's got 12 wins, 4 by TKO, 5 by submission, 3 by decision. And as you might imagine, a lot of the TKOs come on the ground. Chase Hooper is just a very dangerous fighter on the ground. Advances to mount, take your back, and will suck some of the life out of you while maintaining his dominant position and then usually put you away. He's got 3 losses, 1 via knockout, 2 via decision, all in the UFC. He lost to Steven Peterson and Alex Caceres. Both guys just neutralized him. He was never really in the fight. And Steve Garcia knocked him out in round 1. He was never really in that fight. That was last year, and that was one where I was saying before the fight, his striking, Chase Hooper, it's come a long way. And I think he's turned a corner, and then he got the shit kicked out of him. But I do think his striking has come a long way. And I think he's proven to be at least willing to throw down. And sometimes it seems like it's plan A, like it was in his last fight against Nick Fiore. Chase Hooper was all over him. And he may not ever have the power. I mean, just look at him. But he's got the volume. He's got the volume and the pressure and the cardio to back all that shit up. And he makes shit happen. And speaking of cardio, he's got plenty of late finishes, or a few anyway, at the UFC level. TKO'd Felipe Colares, round 3 knockout. And heel hooked Peter Barrett, which was a comeback. Peter Barrett was winning that fight, and then he laced up a leg and forced a tap in round 3. Doesn't always need to get it to round 3. He beat Luis Gomez. Luis Gomez on, I think that was the Contender Series. Round 1 rear naked choke. That's the guy that got technically a knockout over Sadiq Youssef, I believe. And he also beat Daniel Tamer in his first UFC fight. And again, that was a round one steamroll and got the rear naked choke. Here in this fight, I do think both guys have a lot of vulnerabilities, but I trust Chase Hooper to win this fight. I don't trust him enough to bet on him at minus 225. I think they got the odds wrong there. But I do think Chase Hooper is better than Jordan Leavitt. I think if these two guys do engage in a grappling battle, it could be very interesting for a few minutes. But after a few minutes, I think it's going to be Chase Hooper's grappling match, and he's going to be winning that fight. And on the feet, Jordan Leavitt might be the more powerful guy as far as the single overhand punch goes, but I still think Chase Hooper. Jordan Leavitt is not the most dangerous guy, not most likely to impose himself on Chase Hooper in a way that Steve Garcia did. And I think Chase Hooper, if he's in that fight, he'll be allowed to take over that fight as well with his volume and his pressure. Chase Hooper is a guy that's only getting better, 24 years old. Not that Jordan Leavitt isn't, but the leaps and bounds that he's making, the leaps he's making between fights are bountiful. I don't know, but they're fucking, big leaps he's making at 24 years old. And I think Chase Hooper is supposed to win this fight. It's, again, not something where I can trust him at minus 225. He hasn't imposed himself enough to make that a good money line. And I think Jordan Leavitt could prove to be a potentially bad matchup for him. So if anything, the value's on Jordan Leavitt's side, but I'm not going to bet on that either. I'm staying away from this. I wish I had a stronger lean. If I did have Chase Hooper winning by one way or another, I might play that. But I can't even isolate his path to victory to one thing or another, because Jordan Leavitt's a guy who I totally don't know exactly how it's going to look like if he loses. But I do think Chase Hooper's better, so prediction is Chase Hooper wins. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.